All right, welcome to this presentation about using Drupal and Meteor together. Uh, my name is Kevin Collin. It'll be on the screen at the end. I'm really bad about introducing myself. Sometimes I don't even say my name the whole presentation. But, well, this time I have. So, I have to give credit to one of my clients for a lot of the code in this presentation because they originally did it, and then I talked to them and said, like, oh, hey, I want to present on this at DrupalCamp Oslo, and they're like, okay. So, um, their project Ricochet. Pushpin Planner is the app that has the Drupal and Meteor integration in it, but the company is Project Ricochet. So they do Drupal, Meteor, Node.js, PhoneGap. They kind of like pick up new. They have a tendency to pick up new technology and try to get in on it early, like they have done with Meteor. So when Meteor catches on, they'll be able to say, "We were in early." They're the equivalent of people who use Drupal 4.7 or 4.6. So I plugged that. So let's get into this. I don't really like slides, but I guess I should have some. So so we'll just go through we'll go through some high level or main point kind of stuff, and then we'll go into the demo, which is the part that I like. Okay, so first of all, Meteor. It's a real-time JavaScript framework. We just saw another example of one of those, which is AngularJS. This is a full stack one though, so it's on the server and on the client. So you do your whole app with Meteor. It's really cool because the way that it loads files, it loads them on both the server and the client unless you tell it not to. So you can actually sometimes use the same code in both places. So you can write a function that you want to use on both the server and the client, and because the interfaces are so similar, the APIs are so similar, it'll actually work because it uses MongoDB and Express and Node.js in the background, and on the client it has this thing called Mini Mongo, which is like a client-side version of MongoDB. So you can actually look up your data and stuff with the same API that you do on the server. So that's why the code often works in both places. So it's great for building an app, a lot better than Drupal because this is meant to build an app. A lot of times you're wrestling against Drupal if you want to build a specific kind of application that does a specific thing. If you want to build a content site, obviously you'd be kind of stupid not to use Drupal for that, but for an app, this is a lot better. Skip that one. So why both? And this kind of goes back to my question in the last presentation. For whatever reason, when Pushpin Planner was only using Meteor, that's the app that I showed in the beginning, they weren't getting like any search results. They were basically invisible to Google. They were using this package in Meteor that does what the person referenced which was using Phantom.js to take a snapshot of it and serving that to spiders. But for whatever reason, it wasn't working, and they still weren't showing up. So they're like, okay, we should use Drupal for the kind of content and marketing type site and let them sign up from there, and then use Meteor for the application. So they did. They talked about it more. They talked way more about the vision than I'm going to in this DrupalCamp Austin presentation. So you can Google that. I think that's enough search terms there. Probably if you just Google DrupalCamp Austin Meteor, you'll find it. So, right. Let's actually look at how this works. Everybody following so far? Any questions yet? Cool? Okay. Oh, wait, not yet. Okay, I gotta clone the screen here. Okay, so, well, I guess we should start first with the app. So this is like the basic Meteor app. I changed almost nothing. I changed the minimum that I needed to make the integration work. So it's just hello world. You can see I'm already logged in. So in Meteor, I can create an account. So I can just say, let's use one that I haven't already used. I'm just put in some password, and then there, I'm logged in. Okay, so that works on the Meteor side, just to show you what it looks like in the application itself. Okay, I'll sign out, and then I'll go to my Drupal site. So before explaining it, let's just watch it. Let's just watch it actually work. Let's start fresh. Okay, wait, just give me 1 second. Sometimes it does this. It does it because it's a demo, you know. Should be good now. Fortunately, it did this before, so I already knew what to do. Okay, so I'll put in another new email here. Doesn't matter. The nice thing about Meteor's development mode is that it'll just show the email on the console, so it won't actually send anything, so I can put whatever I want. Okay. Okay, I guess let's try putting, let's do it wrong. If I try to do this, it says invalid email. And this message is actually coming from Meteor. When it tries to interact with Meteor, Meteor says invalid email, and then it just passes that back and shows us on our end, on Drupal. Okay. Alright, I'll stop teasing you. Okay. So that says success. Please check your email for further instructions. Okay. Okay, so like I said, over here we see that we have, at the top left here, you see that there's an email that's being displayed on the console with a link to log in to the Meteor app. So the user would actually receive this at their real email, and then they'd be able to log into the app. So let's see if that works. Okay, yep, so it says to choose a password. So we'll do that, and then, okay, then we see that I'm logged in, just like when I logged in directly from the application before. So that's how it looks. So how did we do it? It's actually pretty simple. It's really like, there's almost nothing complicated about it. It's just, let's see where to start. First of all, Meteor has its own protocol, like a lot of things do these days. They like to say that our way of doing it is better than everyone else's. So anyway, they have their own protocol, which they call DDP, Distributed Data Protocol, which uses WebSockets or sock.js, so it works on a bunch of browsers and whatnot. And that's basically all we're doing. We're just speaking that protocol from Drupal, and we're calling what's called a Meteor method on the Meteor side, which is basically the same thing that Meteor itself does when it creates a user, except that we made our own so that it would work the way we expected. But that's the long and short of it. So I have a Drupal module here. I guess we can start from the comfortable part, called Meteor Signup. And all of these modules, I'll show you the link at the end, or in the question and answers the links will show. They're on my GitHub page, so you can look at the code in your own time later on if you want to. So I have this one where I just have I have that page that I went to, which I just cheated and I called home instead of making it a block or something, like actually reusable. And a page to configure where the Meteor app is, which originally it was just like, yeah, put it in your settings.php or use Josh, but I made a page for it in the end because I had time. And then I just add a bunch of JavaScript files, and this is just the home page form. So when I click that button, now we have to look at this Meteor signup.javascript file. Am I losing anyone? Okay, cool. Yeah, if you need me to slow down, just like say something. Okay, so I add a Drupal behavior like you do in JavaScript, so it's the normal way of doing that. Blah blah blah. I just do some validation here, but the really cool part is this line right here. This is where we're calling what's called a Meteor method, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But just remember, that's basically where all the cool stuff happens, and that's a promise if you're familiar with what that is in JavaScript and jQuery. So that's why down here we have fail and done, and I just took that code, so I didn't do it that way. But it's pretty cool that it works that way, because then it's obviously asynchronous. One thing to know about the current version of this is that it doesn't seem to work with IE8. So we don't know why that is yet, and I didn't have time to figure it out. But IE9 and above and other browsers it seems to work fine with. I don't think that it's an inherent problem with sock.js because it's supposed to work pretty far back because it can do long polling if WebSockets don't work sort of transparently. So it's probably something with the JavaScript or who knows what. Maybe it might be promises actually. But pull requests are welcome if you solve it. So, okay, so let's look at this thing that we call this Drupal create new user by email. So that is over. We have to go into the Meteor side for this. So now I'm on this file is from the Meteor project. I have a few different projects in here, sort of all together. And then this is this. No, actually, it's not that. That's what it was before. But I made it better. I actually made it into a Meteor package, which is the Meteor equivalent of a Drupal module. That all it does is it creates this this function to make it available and predictable for what the Drupal module can call to create it. So you see it's named the same thing, and it just pretty much does the same thing. It validates, and then if everything's good, it creates the user. And I also left in this profile option called subscribe to mailing list, because that's one of the reasons that Pushpin Planner did it the way that it did, so they could get people into their mailing list, or not, depending on what the person picked on the form. Their form is a little more complex. I really dumbed it down to make it simple and easy to present. And so what's neat is that, like I said, the messages that you see are coming from here. So we don't have this message anywhere on the Drupal side. It gets this message over DDP, and then it just prints out using the same thing, the alertify script in JavaScript. That's what makes those little bubbles come up at the bottom right. We just have that on both ends, so it looks the same. And then, yeah, magic happens. So that is, I think we could start with that, and then I'm so bad at PowerPoint that I can't like start on the right slide. Okay, so yeah, do you have any questions so far? Because that's the main like presentation, but I can obviously show you some other stuff if we have time. Probably won't because then we can catch up. But any questions about like why we did this or Meteor or Drupal? Meteor Drupal?
Yeah, I'm not sure why you used Meteor. I thought you used some other framework.
Mostly because it was new and shiny.
Yeah.
Just to learn it. It was originally a learning project, and then it kind of just kept developing, and people were actually interested, so they kept working on it. The product itself, if you're anyone who does project planning or resource planning, it's pretty cool. A lot of people who do that seem to like it, so worth taking a look at. It's neat how it all kind of works fast and in real time. So if you are planning with someone else over the phone or something, you can actually see what each other are doing at the same time. So that's pretty neat. Any other? Or did that answer your question? Cool. All right, and like I said, the links to it were there, but if you just go to my GitHub page, you'll see it. I also released the Meteor package called Drupal on GitHub at least. It's not on the Meteor repository yet because I forgot, but it'll be there. If you go to just my GitHub page and my repositories, you'll see it. I'm working on a Meteor app, so if you go there, which is linked to like in a couple of the repositories if you lose the link, you could check that out. And I have like so many business cards, so if you want a card, like don't be shy. If you want to stay in touch somehow, or just send me an email or whatever. And any other questions between then and now? No? Okay, yeah? It was. It's pretty good now, I would say. Like, I don't. When you say that, nothing comes to mind really. In the beginning, last year, they didn't have like authentication yet because they released it really early. So everyone's like, no authentication. How can we use this? Which was understandable, but now they have it. And it's like it's so ridiculously easy to do like that username and password stuff in Meteor. I put in you put in a couple packages called like accounts base and accounts password, and then I don't have the HTML file open. Where is the on the Meteor site? It's the second one. Meteor. Oh, that's the server folder. Client. Here we go. Like once you have the packages in, this is what I did to get that. Like this one line. It's when I first saw that, it was completely ridiculous. It's like, what? That's how they did it? I was trying to debug something, I think, on Pushpin Planner, and was like, how does this login work? Oh, whoa. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There are a couple packages that you will want to remove if you do a Meteor app, like before you actually release it to anyone, which are these two. They're called auto-publish and insecure. That will make your app really insecure. If you don't, it's actually called insecure. So, it makes it really easy to like access all your data from the client and debug early on, but it makes it really easy to access all your data from the client. So you'll want to remove those. And generally, it'll tell you that they're still on like every time if you actually do anything with them. So I think it does. So it's pretty secure. Like it's not any more insecure than anything else. You should be aware that client code is visible to the client. So if you have something secret, you should put it on the server in a Meteor method or whatever, and it works fine. It's pretty transparent. Like you update stuff on the server, it comes to the client like almost right away. It's really crazy. Sometimes it has this thing called latency compensation. So it'll predict what's going to happen and show you that. And sometimes it does that like I have no idea how it knows what's going to happen sometimes, but it does. It's crazy. Like you think you know how it works, and then it just like it'll calculate stuff that I have in calculations on the server or something and show me it, and I'm like, what? How did it figure that out? So yeah. So that's how Pushpin Planner looks. It's probably not the most like. That's just my local, so it's not the prettiest version of it, but it's got like some different screens and whatnot for setting things up. And they have this, I haven't looked much at it, but they have this thing that apparently it'll like look at how you've been doing on your projects over a few weeks, and then it'll like tell you what to do and your costs and help you plan, like a planning tool. So apparently that's supposed to be really cool. I haven't worked on it since like July, and then that's SpendFlow. And this is the original site that had them both integrated. So we see here that if I probably have to use a real one. Get pretty much the same message. They have a nice spinner and stuff, and I didn't have the icon, so I just took it out. And then same message, so you can tell I totally I ethically ripped off the code and published it. They said I could, so it's cool. All right, so yeah, that's that. Thanks for coming, even though you didn't have a choice.